We will teach you how to analyse Shakespeare's dramatic techniques and how to unpack his complex ideas so that you'll be ready to create powerful essays about how human experiences are represented in The Merchant of Venice. You'll be ready to conquer HSC English in no time. In this lesson, we'll start by briefly explaining Section 2 of your Paper 1 exam, where you'll showcase your understanding of how The Merchant of Venice expresses ideas from the Texts and Human Experiences module. Then, we'll start going through key ideas from the module, beginning with how the text represents individual and collective experiences, and how the text represents human qualities associated with or arising from these experiences. Be sure to check out Part 2, where we will analyse more key ideas from the module. Let's get started. In Section 2 of your Paper 1 English exam, you'll have 45 minutes to write an essay about The Merchant of Venice. There are a few types of questions that you might come across. First, the question might be specific to the form of the play. That means you need to be familiar with Shakespeare's main dramatic techniques and the overall structure of the play. The question could also be specific to the text itself. You might be required to talk about a specific theme or human experience found in the play. Alternatively, you could also have to respond to a stimulus, like a statement drawn from the module. That means you need to be familiar with all the main ideas in the module. These lessons will help you prepare for the wide variety of essay questions that could appear in the exam. Together, we'll go through the main ideas in the play that relate to human experiences, unpacking key techniques and quotes as we go. First, let's figure out how the text represents individual and collective human experiences. In The Merchant of Venice, individuals' experiences often represent broader collective experiences shared by groups in Shakespeare's society, or by humanity more generally. A fancy word to describe when one thing represents something bigger is metonymy. For example, we'd say that Shylock's individual experiences are metonymic for the experiences of Jews in Shakespeare's time. Shakespearean England was quite monocultural, meaning that nearly everyone shared the same culture, ethnicity, language and religion. The few Jews in England were regarded with suspicion and even hostility. Shylock's experience reflects this well. The Christian characters all look down on him and insult him. For example, Shylock confronts Antonio about his racist behaviour, saying that Antonio publicly mocks him with invectives or insults like misbeliever and cutthroat dog. In fact, a lot of people use animalistic language to insult Shylock, like Gratiano, who calls him an inexorable dog, and wolvish. At the end of the play, Shylock is left completely isolated. His daughter has abandoned him, he is forced to leave his Jewish community by converting to Christianity, and he will never truly belong to the Christian community thanks to his Jewish heritage. According to social identity theory, we derive aspects of our identity from the experiences we share with others and the groups we are part of. Being excluded from his Jewish community and wider Venetian society would have an extremely negative impact on Shylock's identity. However, Shylock's tragic experience may also enable some audiences throughout history to connect with him. For example, his situation would have resonated with the isolating discrimination felt by Jews in Shakespeare's society. Can you think of more examples in the play where individual experiences represent collective experiences? Think about Portia and Jessica's relationship with their oppressive and controlling fathers. This could be metonymic for the struggle that women have faced in patriarchal societies, which is when men have all the power and women are expected to be quiet and subservient. To learn more about this experience, check out our lesson on gender in the play. Another example is the experiences of friendship and romantic love. Throughout the play, male characters often value friendship with each other above love for their wives. Maybe this also reflects the patriarchal values of Shakespeare's day. Check out our lesson on love and friendship for more detail. Also, consider all the characters who are in debt, that is, owing something to someone else. Lots of characters in the play encounter this experience, including Bassanio, Antonio, and even Shylock. To explore this theme further, check out our lesson on money in the play. In each of these examples, gender, friendship, love, and money, the experiences of individual characters can be interpreted as metonymic for collective experiences that are shared by people in Shakespeare's time and even throughout history. Now let's think about how the text represents human qualities and emotions associated with or arising from these experiences. Human qualities are established patterns of behaviour, thought, and emotion that come to define who we are, whereas emotions are individual feelings that come and go. The Merchant of Venice shows us a complex relationship between each character's experiences and their distinct qualities and emotions. All three elements, experiences, qualities, and emotions, influence each other. This is related to the nature versus nurture debate. That's the disagreement whether behaviour and motivations are part of someone's inbuilt nature or due to their nurture, that is, their experiences throughout life. To understand the interaction between experiences, qualities, and emotions in the play, you'll need a good grasp of Shakespeare's characters. Take Portia, for example. Her first line is, "By my troth, Nerissa, my little body is aweary of this great world." The contrast between her little body and the great world suggests an emotion of existential ennui. That's a sense of weary despair when contemplating the essential insignificance of your individual life. Where did this emotion come from? Does it stem from a particular experience? After all, she's trapped by her father's will, which won't let her choose a husband for herself. Maybe that's why she's so frustrated and bored with life. However, when she complains about her situation, her maidservant Nerissa quickly retorts, "They are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that starve with nothing." This simile, comparing Portia's sufferings with people who starve with nothing, is quite hyperbolic or exaggerated. The comparison shows that basically, Nerissa thinks Portia is too rich. She owns too much and so has lost sight of how lucky she is. She's metaphorically sick with wealth. What do you think? Does Portia's despair stem from being trapped in a patriarchal society? Or is she experiencing the bored ennui of a spoiled aristocrat who has lost sight of what real suffering is? To be fair, the answer is probably both. Emotions are complex and can arise from multiple situations and experiences. What about Portia's personality? What qualities define her? Let's think about her intelligence and desire for power. Her intelligence has probably been nurtured by her upper-class education. Remember her amazing knowledge of Venetian law? Her hunger for power potentially arises from her experience of patriarchal authority throughout her life. She's in a paradoxical or contradictory position, privileged by her upper-class status, but limited by her female gender. Things get interesting when Portia uses her intelligence to gain power. When Bassanio wins her hand in marriage, she gives him a ring, telling him that losing the ring or giving it away would presage the ruin of your love. If Bassanio loses the ring, he's in big trouble. Usually, a man would give his wife a ring, symbolising his control over her. But here, the ring symbolises that Portia is subtly maintaining control in the relationship. When news arrives that Antonio is in trouble, Portia immediately steps in to save the day, announcing that she can easily repay Antonio's debt. Even though 3,000 ducats is worth over $500,000 in today's money, ironically, Portia calls it a petty or small debt. She even declares that she can fork out 20 times the amount. By doing so, she's metaphorically purchasing Antonio. Now he will always be grateful to her. This is all part of Portia's crafty plan to maintain power in her relationship with Bassanio. She controls the money and also has power over his best friend, Antonio. Overall, Portia's qualities of intelligence and her desire for power have greatly influenced her experience of love with Bassanio, as she constantly seeks to subvert patriarchal power structures in her marriage. As you can see from the example of Portia, human qualities and emotions both arise from and influence our experiences. Portia isn't the only character who demonstrates this. Think about Shylock's vengefulness, Jessica's desire for independence from her father, or the arrogance that Antonio and Graciano show when they're around Shylock. These qualities and emotions arise from and influence all kinds of experiences. Whenever you see someone in the play display a particular quality or emotion, ask yourself these questions. What experiences do these qualities and emotions arise from? What experiences do they influence? Shakespeare's play is full of rich examples to explore. As well as analysing the characters, think about what it's like to be an audience or reader of The Merchant of Venice. What emotions arise from or are associated with our experience of interacting with Shakespeare's play? Of course, emotional responses are subjective, meaning that they will be different for each individual in the audience. Your own unique qualities, past experiences, and social context will impact how you feel when you watch or read the play. You might be horrified at Shylock's cruelty, yet sad when confronted with his ultimate downfall. You might be overjoyed when Bassanio wins Portia's hand in marriage, and laugh when Portia and Nerissa play a prank on their husbands, but also feel uneasy that the supposed good guys are racist. Usually, plays that end well are called comedies, and those that end sadly are called tragedies. But all the competing emotional responses to the play have led critics to disagree whether The Merchant of Venice is fundamentally tragic or comic. That's why it's often labelled a tragicomedy or even a problem play, because our emotional experience of watching the play is so complex. Nice work! We've just explored some pretty complex yet fundamental concepts about how The Merchant of Venice relates to your Texts and Human Experiences module. Now you know all about how the text represents individual and collective experiences and how human qualities and emotions are associated with or arise from these experiences. Soon, you'll be ready to incorporate these ideas into Band 6 essays. We hope you enjoyed this Schooling Online production. For more easy lessons on The Merchant of Venice and Texts and Human Experiences, check out our second lesson analysing more key ideas from the module.